guys. So, just going to be shooting a quick little market update. Just figured it's been a long time since we've done this, and yeah, I just want to give you guys some insight on what I see. So, talked a lot about not being overly bearish around the 60K mark, and it looks like this seems to be, the right call. I mean, we're starting to see some bounces off the lows, right? We're just in a larger range, and at the end of the day, we simply held the range. So there's really nothing wrong with this look at all to me. I talked about this earlier in the day today, but if we look at the structure of this thing as well, it looks a lot better than it did before, right? And we can kind of see why, right? When we just zoom out and look at this from an objective point of view, all this really is lower low, lower high, right? And then it's just this kind of rinse repeat over and over again, right? And I don't know why my mouse is so glitchy, so ignore that. But yeah, like we just kind of did this over and over again until here, right? We had this low and then a higher low, right? And then we finally had a market structure break when we broke this high, right? So if we start staying above this level, that's going to be a pretty good look. And I'm pretty happy with how the market looks overall, right? At the end of the day, where did we stop? We stopped here, right? This is the level we gave out in the chat. And this is a pretty significant daily level as well, right? And where did this stop? Well, this just stopped at the bottom of the range, right? And this makes a lot of sense as well. So being able to hold this, pretty bullish, right? And our altcoins look the same. And that's the big thing I want to point out here, right? So at the end of the day, right, these all nuked, right? These all basically nuked ahead of Bitcoin. And what happened, right? We made a low, right? We made a higher low, right? And then right over here, there's your market structure break, right? We're starting to trade above this previous high. And all of these coins pretty much look the same, right? At the end of the day, they kind of all look roughly similar, right? You have a low, right? But then you have, again, your break. And then once this starts closing above here, that's going to be your market structure break. You can really find these across the board. So like something like Solana, very similar look, right? I mean, this is our key level sitting about over here, right? What happened with Solana? Well, you had the low, right? You had this kind of fake out, but couldn't get above. And then you kind of flipped this level back to support, and now you are trading above again. These are all just basically variations of the same thing. Pretty much all these charts look identical to me, so not too much to worry about there. Can take a look at ETH, and I imagine this is going to look very similar, right? Yeah, so there's your dump, right? And then higher low, right? And the only problem with this is that you do want to reclaim this level to start seeing an MSB, but again, this looks fine. There's nothing wrong with this, right? At the end of the day, you've made your low, you've made your higher low, and the question is, are we going to see now just some sort of continuation, right? And this is basically what all these charts do look like, is kind of some variation of this, where you're going to want to see continuation for confirmation. This one's kind of messy because you had ETF news over here, so that's probably what explains this pump. But with all of these, right, at the end of the day, these are just larger ranges. You can kind of use one line to rule these all. So yeah, I mean, if you start trading back into here, right, you're probably going to get a move back to the 200 mark. If you reject off of there, then I would start to look at the 110s, 70 mark, stuff like that. So we are in a pretty key inflection point overall. We have coins like Ondo. Again, these are the same thing, right? We're just inside of a range, so not much to look at here. We either break down or we break up, right? This would kind of be your key level to look at, which is where we're sitting at right now. We can look at ORDI. It's another coin we talk about a lot. This one doesn't look so great. I mean, you are just sitting at the range low, but at the end of the day, right, you are just inside this range. So you probably want to see this high get taken out before I would start to look for upside targets on this thing. But after that, probably smooth sailing back to the $55 mark. We'll take a look at Litecoin. Again, this one doesn't look great, right? Because this is your range and you're kind of struggling to re-accept back inside of it. So yeah, if you start getting significant closes above, that's when I'm going to look at targets that are much higher. So, we zoom this out to like a daily chart, right? At the end of the day, we'll just wipe this all. This is your range. it's really just sitting up here. Can we also be saying it's sitting down here, right? And that would just be this whole region, right? Support, resistance, whatever. Until you start getting candle closes back inside here. It's not looking very good, right? We don't want this to just nuke down to there. But you start closing back inside here, and you probably use something like that, which would look very good. We can look at AAVE USD, and this thing looks excellent to me, right? We're just inside of the range. We held the range. In fact, we never even took out the range lows from April. This is a strong coin. I really think this thing is going to go parabolic. Really do. But so this is something I would look at to just hold on spot. But again, these charts all look the same to me. They really do, for the most part, right? You have fetch. This does not look that great. You wicked into this down here. I mean, you got all the way back to the range up there, and then you just kind of rejected off of it, right? Like that would just be this over here. And I mean, you're kind of now stuck in probably this mini range where I'm guessing before we get that token, we're going to sit in between here and here. And when we merge that all into ASL, that's probably where this all goes, is either here or up there, and then new highs. Not sure. Tough to tell. Look at near. Near looks fine, right? Larger range again. You defended the range low. Again, you have this market structure shift over here, right? Low, low. When you take out this high, or you start reclaiming this level over here, right? That would look a lot more bullish. So I would just be patient with this one. Dogecoin, not great. Sitting at the range low, no reaction, not good. Crow, I mean, this looks like shit. Enough said. Yay, bullish. I mean, yeah, like if we hold this, I guess it's fine, but this is just not the kind of strength you want to see. It's just like a slow bleed to zero. This thing, I'm glad we fucking sold it. That's all I got to say about this one, boys. I'm glad we sold it. This one, God save the queen. Please, please, please bounce, or it's fucked. Probably goes back to 10 cents or 20 cents otherwise. Wow, is this thing fucked. Start closing above this mark over here. That would look pretty good if we can do something like this. But again, just the fact that there's literally no strength, right? Bitcoin pumps up like 3 grand and this thing is sitting at the lows. It's probably fucked too. ApeCoin. If you like gambling, you might as well buy some. Here's your range. This one's a bit more interesting because if you do something like this, it could actually be really bullish. Like you could kind of re-accept inside this range, but I would be very cautious with this. Wait for like some strong closes above the dollar mark before actually getting involved. Um, Again, this is a strong, significant level. It gave us the fuel from 1 to 2.6 last time. So if we do get back inside this level, I would expect us to go at the very least, a 30% move to 1.3. So keep that one on your watch list. And then, yeah, I and J, I mean, I don't know. It's the same thing, right? But the difference with this one is you're now closing back inside the range. So it does look a bit better. I could really see this going, you know, a whole bunch of different ways. But I would like to see something like this where we just kind of move upwards. I'll do a brief little talk about legacy real quick. Just pull up the SPY chart and well, that's pretty useless. No gaps. Like this looks fine. I mean, at the end of the day, it looks a little bit topped, but you can't really get much of a read on this just looking at it this way. Can zoom in on a 2-hour chart, something like that. And at the end of the day, right, there's really not much to talk about. I mean, you stay above here, that's probably pretty good, right? These levels are pretty obvious on the charts, so I wouldn't expect it to deviate too much from this. We break down below here, we will go back to 536 and maybe do something like that, or we might do something like this. Tough to say. Tough to say. I would observe. I would much prefer if we just stay above here and go for higher, but it's kind of a dicey spot, so I'm not too sure. Can look at the NQ. No idea why I'm looking this on crypto, but whatever. The NQ looks the same, where it's like, that's not very pretty looking structure, but you just don't know. At the end of the day, you are still holding support. So until you break down, not much you can do. That's going to sum up today's video. Just a quick little market update. And yeah, hope this was helpful for you guys. Just remember that you don't want to get overly bearish or overly bullish, right? At the end of the day, every single thing is just a range. That's my best advice for everybody here. Don't overcomplicate it. You don't need to overthink things all that much. You just assume it's bullish until proven otherwise. That's basically what you do in this kind of market, right? Because at the same time, the range is going to be the range until proven otherwise. Every single time in the past that we've pumped, we've front run these previous highs, right? So until this comes all the way back into here, I would not be bearish. So that's just my personal take. Until we touch these previous highs, I refuse to be bearish at all, right? Same thing over here. There's your highs, right? Price never comes back. Prices still never come back. So until you let these guys in, to me, bull market will continue. So I will catch you guys in the next video.